Take a flight from Aberdeen and head east. In the middle of the North Sea, buffeted by the wind and waves, is Royal Dutch Shell's Goldeneye gas platform. Now disused, it is manned by a small maintenance crew that visits once every few weeks. But it could soon get a new lease of life if Shell wins a UK competition for £1 billion of public money to develop carbon capture and storage technology. The energy giant wants to extract CO2 from a Scottish power plant at Peterhead. Owned by the utility SSE, pipe it to Goldeneye and store it in reserves far below the seabed. It wants to show that technology it believes can help cut carbon emissions and prevent global temperatures rising to dangerous levels can work commercially. Bill Spence is in charge of the project, which would be the world's first to take CO2 from a gas-fired power plant and store it indefinitely.
It's an ideal location and an ideal time. We've got a virtually new platform, not much more than 10 years old, in very good condition. 5 wells going down into a reservoir that held natural gas for 50 million years. On shore, we've got a gas-fired power station emitting CO2. Connecting the power station to the platform gives us the opportunity to prove to the world that you can capture the CO2 and a gas-fired power station can deliver energy that's every bit as clean as nuclear and renewables.
Carbon dioxide pumped from the Peterhead plant under the sea to this platform here would be pumped thousands of feet below the surface into a vast underground reservoir where it could be stored indefinitely. The main challenge is nobody has shown CCS can be developed profitably. The technology is expensive. The carbon price is still too low to make investing in CCS worthwhile. That could change, but polluters have almost no financial incentive to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on new plants.
So it is a new technology, and this will be a first of a kind, for the world to have a gas-fired power station with capture and storage. What this one will show is that it operates and we can generate public acceptance. By doing future projects with better technology, other projects using the same pipeline, the same wells, the same reservoir, we can share costs that way, proving to the banking sector that these are bankable, workable projects and having lower cost of capital. All of these combined will start to bring us down a cost curve, and we have to play a bit of catch-up for some of the energy technologies that are ahead of us.
If it gets the go-ahead, the project could extend the life of not just Goldeneye, but other North Sea platforms, putting off the costs of decommissioning. Other users could be drawn in. A second disused pipeline runs to the industrial heart of Scotland, including the Grangemouth Chemicals Complex owned by INEOS. Environmental groups, though, are far from convinced of the benefits. Mike Childs of Friends of the Earth says the real reason oil and gas companies want to develop carbon capture is to extract more fossil fuels.
What we see, I think, is the fossil fuel industries banging the carbon capture and storage drum, largely actually as a political motive. In reality, carbon capture and storage is going to be very expensive, and even if you're doing carbon capture and storage on, for example, gas-fired power stations, certain coal-fired power stations, then the emissions, the carbon emissions from those energy-generated plants are still going to be too high to be acceptable in the future for our electricity supply. So we see this really as a political move by the fossil fuel industry to say to governments, we still have a life. All this narrative about we need to get off fossil fuels, we need to have decarbonised electricity, actually we've got part of that future, and we don't believe that. Actually, we just don't buy that.
Proponents of carbon capture argue it is one of the best ways to help reduce carbon emissions. Critics say it is simply an excuse to burn more fossil fuels. Shell believes it is an essential part of the toolkit to lower carbon emissions. It believes the technology is there to make it work. It now wants to prove it can work. We will find out within the next few months whether that will happen. Chris Adams, the Goldeneye platform, North Sea.